Somewhere along the way, we were taught another lie. That our work is on one side, our life is on the other, and every day is a tug-of-war between the two. A constant competition, a negotiation, a trade-off. But what if there was never a competition to begin with? What if the real challenge isn't balancing two opposing forces, but learning to live in rhythm where they actually support each other? Work-life harmony isn't about perfection, productivity hacks, or even squeezing more tasks into fewer hours. Harmony is about alignment, the way your time, your values, your energy, and your responsibilities interact. It's the quiet architecture behind a life that feels lived and not survived. And here's the truth most people don't talk about. When you protect your time, when you create clarity around what matters, when you build harmony in the day-to-day, you actually become more willing and genuinely excited to rise to the moments that require extra effort. The late night prep for tomorrow's presentation, the extra rehearsal before a major performance, the additional hours poured into your team, your classroom, your project, your sport, your company, and your dream. Those sacrifices don't drain you when the rest of your life isn't in chaos. They feel meaningful because they're rooted in a life that, most of the time, you control. A life you've built with intention. That's when you step into what I call the torch moment. The moment where you realize you're not just participating, you're contributing. You're shaping the culture around you. You're becoming a person whose harmony uplifts others instead of collapsing under pressure. And when you carry your torch, something powerful happens. People around you start to carry theirs. Welcome to episode 37. Work-life harmony isn't a balance. It's an ecosystem. And today, we're rebuilding yours from the inside out. Are you ready? I am. I'm Jonah. I'm your person. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the show. You know, most people don't realize this, but the idea of work-life balance didn't come from real human experience. It came from old organizational culture, from a world that assumed that work and life were two separate planets orbiting in opposite directions. And every generation after that just accepted it. We inherited the belief that the only way to survive adulthood was to balance two competing forces on a tightrope. And here's the problem with that. When you frame work and life as competitors, you will always feel like you're losing to one of them. If you work too hard, you feel guilty for missing moments with the people you love. If you pour into your personal life, you feel behind on your responsibilities, deadlines, and goals. It creates resentment, not just toward your job, but toward yourself for not balancing it better. And resentment is one of the fastest ways to burn out. Harmony changes that. Harmony says, these are not two enemies fighting for your time. These are interconnected parts of your life that need structure, clarity, and intention. Harmony doesn't shame you for having ambition. And harmony doesn't punish you for needing rest. And harmony certainly doesn't force you to choose sides. In harmony, you learn to build a rhythm where your work supports your life and your life fuels your work. And that rhythm starts with the one thing that most of us were never taught. You are responsible for protecting your time, not your employer, not your partner, not your colleagues, your friends, or your family. You. And when I say protecting, I don't mean blocking off time like you're a drill sergeant. I mean being deliberate, being honest about what matters, setting boundaries that allow you to show up fully, not halfway, not resentfully, not exhausted. Because once you learn how to create harmony in your day-to-day, The moments when you do need to stretch, push, or sacrifice, it won't feel like a burden. They'll feel like purpose. This is the shift. This is where work-life harmony begins. I want to take you back to a version of me that most people never saw. The version that was drowning in balance. The version that spent entire days chained to a desk, convincing himself that grinding was the only path to success. The version that believed being a good father meant eventually having more time once the work was done, once the inbox was clean, or once the project was finished, or once the pressure eased. But that day never came, because balance teaches you to wait for a moment that doesn't exist, a moment where work magically slows down and life politely waits for your attention. That moment wasn't real for me, and it's not real for most people listening right now. I remember sitting at my desk one night, exhausted, burned out, and annoyed at myself for yet missing another evening with my son. And I had this moment. Not a dramatic breakdown or nothing cinematic, just a quiet, sharp awareness. If I don't change how I manage my time, I'm going to miss the life I'm working so hard to create. That realization hit me with more force than any deadline ever could. From that moment forward, I made a decision. I would stop trying to balance and would start creating harmony. Harmony meant I had to get honest about the commitments I could handle and the ones I couldn't. Harmony meant I had to learn how to say no without apologizing. Harmony meant deadlines were negotiable, expectations were conversational, and my time, my actual life, was no longer the last thing on the list. That was the beginning. And just so you hear this clearly, my workload didn't shrink. My responsibilities didn't magically evaporate. And life didn't get easier. But I got intentional. I got protective. And I got clear. And everything changed for my work, my mental health, and most importantly, for my relationship with my son. This is where harmony starts, with a decision. A decision to stop waiting and start owning. And here's your first challenge. I want you to do something today that most people avoid doing because it forces them to face the truth. Audit your time, honestly. Not the time you think you spend, not the time you wish you spent, the time you actually spend. For the next 48 hours, write down what you're doing, how long you're doing it, and how you feel when you're done. Every task, every distraction, every obligation, every scroll, every delay, every moment you said yes when your body was begging you to say no. And here's why it matters. You cannot create harmony with time you don't understand. Most people feel overwhelmed, not because they have too much to do, but because they have no idea where their time is leaking. And leaks create resentment. Leaks create exhaustion. Leaks create the illusion that your life and your work are at war. Your challenge is simple. Track everything. Don't judge it. Just see it. Because once you can see your time clearly, you can protect it clearly. And once you protect it, harmony stops being a concept and starts becoming a lifestyle. Challenge accepted? Good. Here's the part that nobody tells you. Harmony doesn't appear on its own. It doesn't drift into your life like some peaceful cloud settling everything into place. Harmony is built. It's engineered. It's shaped by decisions you make long before your day begins. And that's where most of us get trapped. We assume harmony is the result of a good schedule, or a calm week, or a light workload. But harmony is actually the cause, the thing that creates a good schedule, a calmer week, and a manageable workload. It works in reverse of what we were taught. When I finally understood that, everything shifted. I stopped trying to control every demand that came my way, and I started controlling the structure of my time. And this is where people misunderstand harmony the most. They think harmony means softness, being flexible, easy, go with the flow. But true harmony requires precision. It requires the courage to set boundaries before you need them, the confidence to communicate those boundaries without guilt, the clarity to know what earns your yes and what deserves your not right now. Most people wait until they're overwhelmed before they try to create order. But harmony is preventative. It's proactive. It's you choosing how your time will function before the world chooses it for you. And for me, that started with time blocking. Time blocking wasn't about becoming hyper-efficient or robotic. It was about giving every part of my life, my work, my health, my son, this podcast, my creativity, a clear, protected home on the calendar. When something has a home, it has dignity. When something has a home, it doesn't need to fight for your attention. When something has a home, you don't have to feel guilty for not being everywhere all at once. And here's what surprised me. The more structure that I had for my time, the more freedom I felt. Not less, more. Suddenly, I wasn't improvising my day. I wasn't scrambling. I wasn't constantly reacting to emergencies that actually weren't emergencies. I knew what mattered, when it mattered, and how much of me I could give without burning myself out. Harmony eliminates the competition between work and life because it removes the guesswork. It gives intention a blueprint. And when you have a blueprint, you can build a life that doesn't fight you. You build a life that works with you. One of the biggest misunderstandings about work-life harmony is this idea that the goal is to say no more often. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Harmony isn't built by saying no. It's built by protecting your yes. When you don't protect your yes, you end up giving it to everything that's loudest instead of everything that's important. You say yes to urgent emails that aren't actually urgent. Yes to meetings that don't need your presence. Yes to favors you don't have the bandwidth for. And yes to responsibilities that drain you because you don't want to disappoint anyone. And suddenly, your week is gone. Not because you were busy, but because you gave your yes away like it was free. When I finally understood that my yes was a resource, and a limited one at that, everything changed. My work improved, my energy improved, my connection with my son improved, my peace improved. Harmony didn't just come from saying no. It came from knowing exactly why I was saying yes. Protected yeses are powerful. They're deliberate. They're aligned with your values, your goals, and your responsibilities, not your guilt, anxiety, or fear of letting people down. And here's the irony. When you protect your yes becomes more meaningful to the people around you. Your team respects it because they know your yes is thoughtful. Your leaders appreciate it because your yes carries weight. Your family benefits from it because your yes is intentional, not resentful or half-hearted. And you benefit because your time finally begins to reflect the life you're trying to build, not the life you're trying to escape. This is the part where harmony starts to feel real, not theoretical, not motivational, not conceptual. Real. Because once you stop giving away your yes without thinking, you stop living on defense and you start living by design. And that's where we go next. And here's your second challenge. Today, write down every single thing you said yes to in the last 7 days. Then circle the ones that drained you, distracted you, or didn't align with your priorities. Your job this week? Replace just one of those automatic yeses with, not this time. Now, I want to be very clear. When you're in a business setting, It may not be conducive or appropriate to straight up say no. You may want to make sure that you're negotiating a more appropriate date and time. The point being, you should not say yes to everything if it's not necessary. You can, but for the most part, let it be in your time frame. You may gain more trust if you do end up negotiating a different date and time, making sure, though, that you keep your commitment. A protected yes begins with a single protected no. If you're enjoying the show, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. You can also catch me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, YouTube, Threads, and Blue Sky for promo reels and other content. Now, back to the show. There's a part of work-life harmony people rarely talk about because it doesn't fit neatly into the just set boundaries conversation. It's this. Even with harmony, there will be moments of sacrifice. Late nights, early mornings, extra rehearsals, extra prep, the unexpected workload, the last-minute pivot, the big presentation, the soccer game you coach that suddenly requires an extra hour at 11 p.m. to get ready. Life doesn't stop asking, and work doesn't stop demanding, and harmony doesn't magically erase commitment. But here's the difference. The big life, life-changing, sanity-saving difference. When you live with harmony, those moments of sacrifice stop feeling like losses and start feeling like choices. Before I learned how to protect my time, every sacrifice felt like something was being taken from me. My rest, my creativity, my evenings with my son, my energy. Every ask felt like a burden. Every deadline felt like an invasion. Every late night felt like failure. But now when those moments come, and they still do, I meet them with a completely different mindset. I can stretch tonight because the rest of my life isn't stretching me thin. That's the power of harmony. When your days have structure, when your yes is protected, when your time has homes instead of landing spots, you suddenly have the capacity to rise to the moment when the moment truly matters. Not one of resentment, not one of burnout, not out of fear, but out of purpose. And here's what people forget. Sacrifice is honorable when it's sustainable. When you've built harmony into your week, your sacrifice is recognized, your effort is respected, and your contributions are seen. Your work, whether you're an employee, a parent, a creator, a teacher, a student, a legislator, a coach, or a cast member in a musical, becomes an extension of your character instead of an erosion of your identity. And that's what harmony gives you, the ability to show up with strength when it counts. Because you are not living in a constant state of depletion. And that's where it matters. This is the moment where people begin to feel their power again, where work no longer feels like the enemy, where life no longer feels like something you're missing. This is harmony, and this is where harmony becomes fuel. There comes a point in everyone's journey toward work-life harmony where you stop asking, how do I keep up? And start asking, how do I lead? Because harmony isn't maintenance, it's leadership over your schedule, over your energy, your emotional bandwidth, and your commitments. And leadership requires courage. The courage to communicate your capacity clearly. The courage to renegotiate deadlines before they crush you. The courage to tell your team, your supervisor, your partner, your family, here's what I can do, and here's what I can't do today. Not as a rebellion, but as responsibility. People think protecting their time will make them look weak, less committed, less ambitious. But let me tell you something from firsthand experience. Clarity is respected far more than burnout. When you lead your own time, you show up more prepared, you deliver with more excellence, you carry yourself with more presence, and you bring yourself more creativity, more patience, more focus. And people trust you more because you're consistent, not chaotic. But the biggest transformation happens internally. You stop feeling like life is happening to you. You stop feeling like work is controlling you. And you stop feeling like you're constantly behind, constantly catching up, and constantly apologizing. Harmony creates a mindset shift. Instead of defending your time, you begin directing it. And this is where most people finally experience what they've been chasing for years: the feeling of being both productive and peaceful, ambitious and grounded, driven and rested. That combination isn't luck. It's not privilege. It's not personality. It's leadership over one resource everyone has in equal supply: 24 hours. And when you lead those 24 hours intentionally, your life doesn't get easier. It gets aligned. Aligned with your goals. Aligned with your values. Aligned with the type of parent, partner, leader, worker, or creator that you want to be. Harmony makes your life coherent. And coherence is the quiet superpower people notice even before you do. And here's your third challenge. This week, choose one area of your life where you've been reacting instead of leading. Be it your work schedule, family routines, communication, creative time, anything. And for the next 72 hours, direct it on purpose. One area, one leadership decision, one shift. Because harmony grows the moment you stop waiting and start leading. There's a moment in this journey, and it usually sneaks up on you, when harmony stops being something you practice and starts becoming something you are. It's subtle at first. You notice you're less irritated by interruptions. You notice your mornings feel less chaotic. You notice that your evenings feel more present, more grounded, more yours. You notice that when something unexpected shows up, a deadline, a request, a curveball, you don't spiral. You adjust. You respond with intention instead of reactivity. You move with clarity instead of panic. You choose instead of collapse. And that's when it hits you. You've rewritten the way you live. Because harmony isn't just about scheduling or time blocking or protected yeses. Harmony is self-respect. It's self-leadership. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're no longer fighting your own life. And the people around you feel it. Your team feels it. Your family feels it. Your friends feel it. You become more dependable, not just because you're doing more, or better yet, better said, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what matters with more presence and more integrity. You stop resenting your work. You stop apologizing to your life. You stop feeling torn in two. Harmony unifies you. And here's the part that matters most as we close this episode. When you live in harmony, you also inspire it. Not through motivational speeches or perfectly planned routines, but by example, by the way you move, by the way you protect your time without guilt, by the way you communicate your limits with maturity instead of defensiveness, and also by the way you show up to work with purpose and show up to your life with depth. People watch you. People learn from you. And people begin to wonder if they can create the same feeling for themselves. That's the ripple effect. Harmony doesn't just heal you. It influences the world around you. It brings calm in chaotic systems. It brings clarity into overwhelmed teams. It brings balance into families without calling it balance. It brings intention into spaces that desperately need leadership, humility, and courage. And when that starts happening, you realize something powerful. You didn't just create harmony, you became the source of it. And from that point forward, life stops being a competition. It becomes a collaboration. As we close this episode, I'd like to leave you with this thought. If you've made it this far, you already know this episode wasn't about work, and it wasn't about life. It was about you, who you are when your days are aligned, when your time is respected, when your energy is intentional, and when your life stops pulling you in opposite directions. Harmony isn't a dream. It isn't a myth. It isn't something other people get to have whilst you're still stuck surviving another week. Harmony is built. It's chosen. It's crafted by people who finally say, I'm done living by reaction. I'm done giving away my yes. I'm done treating my life like an afterthought. You deserve a life that feels coherent, a life where your work reflects your potential and your personal world reflects your heart. And listen, you don't need to get it perfect. You don't need to rebuild your entire life overnight. All you need is intention. One boundary, one protected yes, one honest moment with yourself. And then, one step forward toward leading your time instead of losing it. That's the doorway. That's the shift. That's the moment harmony becomes possible. And when you start living this way, when you showed up, grounded, focused, present, and no longer in competition with your own life, people around you feel it. They're influenced by it. They're empowered by it. They're lifted by it. Because harmony doesn't just change you. It changes everything you're connected with. So as you walk back into your world today, remember this. Work and life, they're not rivals. They're partners. They're collaborators. They're threads in the same tapestry, and you're the one weaving it. Protect your time. Honor your energy. Lead your hours, and build a life that works with you and not against you. I'm Jonah, and this right here is your reminder that harmony is not a luxury. It's your responsibility. It's your power, and it's waiting for you. I want to thank you once again for going on this journey with me. If you think someone can benefit from this or other episodes, please share it with a friend or a family member. Remember, it's free. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. And thanks for coming back. Have a great week.